WSTX.
Good morning, everyone. All right, we got a caller here. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Canton. A blessed 211 to you.
All right, all right.
Look, the amount of money now that they might have to pay Mr. Hodge. They just let him go like that, and look now the amount of money they got to pay him.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't understand. These people sometimes, they get together and they make a decision. Some of them don't even know what inside the power plant look like. They let the man go. Now the man going to collect a big piece of money. Cocobe on top of yours.
We do these things to ourselves, This is the second time around that we're doing something like this. Remember Joseph Thomas? Former CEO who they paid to leave? The stateside guy. Okay, had big hearing at the legislature about what the money is using to relocate him were being used to spend, and how WAPA money was being used for this and that and the other. A bunch of, as far as I'm concerned, it was bogus stuff. Okay, but at that time you had certain factions in WAPA as well as certain politicians who were against Joe Thomas. Well, basically they paid Joe Thomas to leave. Okay, and basically they can't say a bad thing about Joe Thomas because legally he left because they asked him to without cause. Okay, as far as I understand it, without cause, and that whatever agreement was done was otherwise sealed, so nobody can come back and say anything bad, because one, it would open WAPA to liability, I believe, okay, and two, it would also dig up what was really going on at WAPA at the time. Was it bad leadership, or other people who wanted to have their way, wanted him who was doing things to get WAPA on the right track out of the way? All right, but you see, all the people see was the rah-rah that was going on the legislature floor and the melee that was on the radio and so forth and so on. So just like here, when you see the headlines say that they fire Hugo Hodge, I look at that and I laugh. People don't seem to understand that when you let somebody go without cause, it means that they did nothing wrong. Okay? They did nothing wrong. You just want to make a change. And this is why, because he did nothing wrong, we owe him every cent that was under his contract, or whatever provisions he had in his contract that says, if you terminate my contract before the ending, you will owe me at this rate and this rate and this rate. Okay? So, if anything, we have to look at the chief operating officer and the other persons there who negotiated this, or otherwise were there to inform the board of what the liability would be if they cut his contract short for no cause. All right? So we did this to ourselves. When you going to take a gun, pull it out the holster, cock it, put it down on your foot and pull the trigger. Okay? You going to complain that you there in pain. Who going to pay attention to you?
My son, they look to me like this piggy bank getting well low,
Hey, well, they like it so. All right? They like it so. The bottom line is all the complaints of how much money was spent, how much is lost for inefficiency, all of this other stuff. Well, I guess they feel that this is the pain that they have to endure toward getting WAPA where it needs to go. Well, who am I? I'm not on the board. I don't have the insight of the engineers and so forth and so on, but certain things I don't need that to understand. The fact of the matter is, for the time you let somebody go without cause, they're there on a contract, usually they have contractual terms that protect them. Okay, because think about it now. If you're in a contract and you relocate to the Virgin Islands and they want to terminate your contract early, you got to deal with things like relocation and whatever other inconveniences and so forth. So you get your contract drafted in such a way that when these events happen, you are covered. So I don't feel any way about it. As far as I'm concerned, WAPA did this to itself. The powers that be that wanted this thing done now, they did it to themselves.
But you got a price to pay for it,
But I understand that. I understand that.
There's a price we're going to have to pay.
Look.
And all that money that they're going to waste, we could be putting it to good use.
All we have to do is make sure it become a matter of the public record. Okay? Is his contract a private issue? Or is his contract something that WAPA can release to the public so that the public could see his contract and understand the terms upon which he was serving at WAPA?
Yeah, but they keeping quiet though.
But they keeping quiet. They don't have an obligation to talk to us. You understand? They're their own gods and everything. They don't have an obligation to talk to us. And I'm saying that I'm being deliberately facetious and otherwise sarcastic when I say these things. Okay?
Well, I know you're going to get some call this morning about this Hugo Hodge business.
Well, that's the reason why I'm telling you that, and I'm saying publicly the things I'm saying, okay? I'm saying, folks, calm down. Get a copy of the contract and see what the contract says. Because the people who run things know what's in that contract, and they know what terminating his contract without cause was going to do. Okay? So it was their calculated decision to do it. All right? So
well,
it's nothing bad against him.
Listen, that picture you showed me is such a beautiful picture. I would like you to do me a favor.
Uh-huh.
Take a picture from where the airboat come in, looking west, where the Shabbat project, as far as the power plant, I would like to get a picture of that and put it in a frame, because I grew up in that area that they call the Pleasant Grove. And a lot of people, when you mention that, they don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I didn't know when you told me.
But I know 30 years from now, when my grandchildren see what it used to be, because 30 years from now, maybe sooner, I'm going to see a lot of small yachts in that area.
Hey, they call it progress. I hope it's progress. I hope qualitatively whatever is done is going to help preserve the ecology of the place or improve it, okay? Because a lot of when you're up in the air and you look down there, a lot of the stuff that's in the water that grow in there look like things that grow off of sewage, okay? Because for years they were pumping it right out there. We got all this beautiful beach down there, and what we doing? People swimming in stuff they shouldn't be swimming in. All right? So all of these things are part of what needs to be rectified and to be brought back to where it was as much as possible, to reclaim it as much as possible. Okay? But you know something, Remy? I'm gonna be talking a little bit more about WAPA. I have another issue here with regards to WAPA. My phone ringing from some right now.
But listen, I personally saw the pipe that they had run on top of the reef to dump the sewage, you know. And I personally saw how the current was changing and no fish below that pipe. And that's the government. Somebody make a decision to put the pipe out there, and it was killing the reef, and it killing the fishes too.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, my son. But you had know about the lease, right?
No, I didn't know about it. But let me put it to you this way, right? Them was the days when we supposedly was ignorant about what we were doing. Okay? Maybe the engineers knew, but they weren't telling us. And whoever they told said, well, you know what? Me want to hear it. Let me just do it because that's the cheapest way to go. The cheapest way to go is that's always turned out to be the most expensive way to go. You know? You running on a flat tire and you don't want to stop at this particular gas station, car they empty, and you run to the next gas station. By the time you done the tire mash up, the rim mash up, you got to buy a whole new rim, your alignment gone off and everything else. You know, you pay now or you pay more later. That's the reality, and that's what we're dealing with now, Cremy.
Yeah.
Okay.